2 wins in a row? Yeah. I hear they count that as a streak. Alright, what's up guys? PeterJaguars here again, back with PeterJaguars Pick'em for Week 11 of the NFL season. I can't believe we are this far through, but of course, we made 10 of these videos onto the 11th. Let's keep it rolling! Now, we have some unfortunate news about last week's picks. It was a tough one. In Week 10, we actually finished 6-8. So did not have a winning record. In fact, I believe 11 of the 14 underdogs won. So even we were doing better than picking favorites by a little bit. But still a tough situation. And because of that, we didn't have a winning record. I owe you guys a rap video, so I got to crank that out at some point. It should be some fun for sure. I'm not exactly sure when that'll be coming, but definitely at some point. Maybe within the next couple weeks. But otherwise, it'll probably be like a holiday release or something like that. Not completely sure what I want to do with that. But anyhow, definitely be looking forward to that. And our total on the season for the picks is 87-59. So 60%. Still want to work our way up. See if we can hit 65, 66 by the time the season ends. And as I'm sure you guys know already, especially from seeing my hype in the intro, my Jags played on Thursday night, and you know we won. You see the tweet. Of course, we got to go with my boys, and we're able to take down the Titans. First divisional win of the year, and that makes it 3 of 4. In fact, so totally in the playoff mix. Couple teams lose this week, and we could be tied for the division title. So totally being hopeful with that, and I'm very happy. On to the fresh Sunday picks. We've got Panthers, Redskins. Carolina's still undefeated at this point in the season. Probably something that not a lot of people had seen coming from them, but Cam Newton's been great. Their defense is locking up. Definitely a lot better than the Saints, so Kirk Cousins is going to have some trouble being at home. They should be settled, still rolling along strong. And we've got to roll with Carolina. Okay, that was pretty funny. That was a good throw, right? Neither the Rams nor the Ravens appears to be in serious playoff contention right now, but they both have some good pieces, so it'll be interesting to see how these teams' offseasons shake up when we get to that point. I feel like Kamar Aiken is going to be a key player for Baltimore to see if he can go down the field, as Flacco needs guys to step up and be good playmakers, and it's actually Case Keenum who's coming in to be St. Louis's starting quarterback. That's kind of a bummer for them. Nick Foles wasn't playing very well, but at the same time, do you really want Keenum? I don't know that that's going to be a big beneficial change or something like that. So we are going to be picking with Baltimore. I think they grabbed their 3rd win right here. They've been losing a lot of close ones, but should be able to snag a dub. About 2 months and 7 straight losses later, Tony Romo returns for Dallas, but they're in a tough situation. Maybe too late to salvage their season. They do head to Miami, though, where Cameron Wake is out for the year. Still have a great offensive line, so Romo is going to have a ton of time to work his stuff, find Dez Bryant, Jason Witten, and be able to put points up on the board. But I don't know how the mentality of this team is right now, and the Greg Hardy stuff is kind of hovering as a cloud above their team. So it will be interesting, but I do feel like they're still going to be pretty motivated, wanting to see if they can make a comeback in the NFC East. Should be playing hard enough to beat the Dolphins. The Eagles are one of the teams that the Cowboys are going to be trying to catch up with, and they'll need help from the Buccaneers if they'll be getting too much closer this week as these teams face off in Philadelphia. Mike Evans should be able to have a big day. The only person who can stop Mike Evans right now is himself. He's been dropping way too many passes. I think he was a little better last week, but probably leading the league in drops right now. Byron Maxwell's been effectively a bust, so it's not like the Eagles have anyone who can slow Evans down. And of course, they'll be looking for him all game long, but Philadelphia is still a more talented roster overall, and they should be able to do a bit on defense still, contain the run, do what they need to, and be able to grab this victory. A month ago, you would have been called crazy for assuming that the Bears-Broncos game would be effectively a toss-up, but right now, that is looking very possible. John Fox is coming against his former team and should be motivated in that respect, though the Bears do have a Thanksgiving game looming. With Brock Osweiler coming in for Peyton Manning, we don't really know how the Broncos offense is going to shape up. So a lot of conflicting factors right now. I wasn't sure where to go with this game for quite a while. Hardest game for me to pick, in fact. But the Broncos are 7-2. They're coming off losses, but still need to rebound, and their defense is really, really good. If Jay Cutler is going to have one of those days where he blows up, and I'm sorry, Bears fans, I just feel like it's got to happen at some point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's sorted it out and playing better, but at some point, he's probably going to have one of those days. It just feels like it should, if that makes any sense. So, with all due respect, I'll pick the Bears 1 week against the Vikings. They blew that one. I'm not really feeling them again. Broncos are a little bit better. As a West Coast team heading to Detroit for an early start, this might not be the best spot for the Raiders, but at 4-5, they're still in the playoff mix in the AFC, so they definitely need this one more than the Lions do. That said, home team has some factors going for them, of course, and if Rodney Hudson isn't able to suit up again, that really does dampen Oakland's offensive production, it feels like. Still the AC/DC combo, and it does look like Hudson has a pretty good chance to play center, one of those important things for the offensive line, and he's definitely a Pro Bowl caliber guy, so if they have him back, will help a lot, and I do think the Raiders are going to be working really hard to try to win this one. They haven't been in the playoffs in quite a while, like my Jags, got to be fighting for it, because of that, we're taking them. As it is, we are currently halfway through the picks for the week. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to spike that like button. And along with that, we're going to be trying to get the likes up, but subscribe as well. Annotation coming on the screen. Make sure to subscribe for tons more of our picks content. Madden 16 Ultimate Team Draft Champions. Still firing strong with all of that. Having a lot of fun. Love seeing your support, so make sure to spike the likes, subscribe, and share this video. Keep it up. For my Jags to sneak through and be able to win the AFC South this year, which of course I'm really, really hoping for, we're going to need some help from Houston and Indy to fall in some games as they're currently ahead in the division. But playing Atlanta, I don't know that Hasselbeck is going to be able to come in and win this one. The Falcons have played a ton of backup quarterbacks this year. I'm not even sure if they're as good as the record indicates. This team lost to the Bucs off a bunch of turnovers and has had some issues. So I don't know that they're sold as a real contender. But at the same time, the Colts are still a mess. They've got some issues. They have been able to win a couple good games. But really, I'm not taking them right now. Of course, I want them to lose. That bias is factored in. But we're taking Atlanta. Then, right after, I guess, the other team that I'm wanting to lose, Texans take on the Jets. And it's TJ Yates starting. But the Texans were able to beat the Bengals on Monday night. Somewhat due to Andy Dalton being a mess. They have another primetime game up here that we'll be getting to in a little bit. So we'll see if that one was a legitimate one and if this team actually has some potential to be fighting through. Right now, I'm not sold. I'm not buying in on Yates. I feel like he's going to have some trouble. Probably at least a couple turnovers, and because of that, we're rolling with New York. Random, but to be completely honest, I have no idea who Charkandrick West, or however the heck you pronounce that man's name, apologies if I butchered it, who that kid was going into this year. And with Jamal Charles out, he's been like really good, legit fantasy option for like DFS and stuff. I'm sure he's been a great value pick. Anyhow though, Chiefs do take on the Chargers right now, and Phillip Rivers has to be trying to do something in this AFC West matchup. He's got offensive linemen back. It looks like Orlando Franklin, King Dunlap were able to use the bye, get healthy again. So these guys do have more time to prepare. And the Chiefs did beat the Broncos, but of course that mostly stemmed from Peyton Manning being an absolute wreck for his time in the game with like 4 interceptions. So again, the Chiefs, another one of these teams that's had a good win. We're not completely sure if it was legitimate. Will they be able to string things together and maybe push forward near the end of the season? So it is a toughie, but I'm not buying them at the moment. Need to see a little bit more from this team. I think these guys have recovered after the bye. San Diego have, and they should be able to win. So Blaine Gabbert might not be as bad as he used to be, and the Seahawks defense might not be as good as it was a couple years ago. But really, is Gabbert going to lead the Niners to a win over the Seahawks? I mean, he just grabbed a win, so maybe he will. But for me, no way. Underrated basically the entire season. The Vikings are now 7-2 and in fact 8-1 against the spread with those things. This game is basically a pick'em, not really a spread getting involved here. as it's a good one to see who is going to be the leader of the NFC North. These teams both going to be going at it hard. Rodgers is in some kind of funk maybe, or hurt under the radar because he's been playing poorly. I don't know what the deal is with that, but the Packers have been slipping a little bit. And I was thinking they were really strong, maybe the best team in the league. Right now, definitely not as much. And the Vikings have been really good and consistent. Bridgewater doesn't have the best numbers, but he's been doing his job. Adrian Peterson is Adrian Peterson again. Their defense is solid all around. And this is going to be one of the most exciting games of the week, I feel like. It could go either way, and definitely tough to go against Aaron Rodgers. But still, I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings to move up to 8-2. Well, it looks like Andy Dalton still hasn't solved his choke from playing in big games. Maybe he will sort it out at some point. But wasn't able to do much against the Texans last week. So that doesn't bode well for a Sunday night matchup against the Cardinals, who actually have a really good defense. The Bengals still have a great surrounding squad, though, so it's not as if they're going to be falling apart or anything. But Arizona's trio of receivers with Fitz, Michael Floyd, and John Brown is actually really hard to handle. Despite the Bengals having a good secondary, I don't know that they're going to be able to slow those guys down. Carson Palmer has been playing about as good as any quarterback this season, even though he isn't getting a ton of recognition, making great passes, smart decisions, and all of that stuff. So I want to be backing him, not Dalton, for this type of game. And Arizona is my choice. And lastly, for Monday Night Football, we got Bills-Patriots. These teams played in Week 2. I made the mistake of taking Buffalo then. And New England does have some injuries now, which may be able to balance out the Bills shooting themselves in the foot with penalties, as they did when they lost by 8 in that earlier matchup. We'll see how this one goes. Big game for sure. Some guys with Dion Lewis and Edelman out, of course, as I said, going to be tough for New England's offense. But Tyrod Taylor, still kind of a developing quarterback, is going to have a tough time reading Belichick's defenses and working the ball through. So the Patriots should be able to do what they need to, win this game, and ride their undefeated streak up. Anyhow, there are our picks for all 14 games this week. One last look at the winners as we are wrapping up here. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more vids. Again, make sure to spike that like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for tons more NFL and Madden 16 content. Let me know in the comment section if you think any teams will be able to go undefeated at 16-0 this season. But anyway, guys, I'm out. Peace.